to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to open the meeting. Before we get started too far, I'd like to introduce everybody that's here, either in person or on Zoom and on the TV. So to my left, we have the town clerk, Christine Keller, Councilor John Paciotti, Councilor and Vice Chair, Stephanie Thibodeau. To my right, Town Manager, Michelle Floyling, Councilor Larry McDonald, Councilor Peter Lawrence, and myself, Matt Townsend, Chair of the committee, council. So, all right, so first order of business today is our public announcements. So details may be found at www.fairfieldme.com. Non-emergency services will be closed on Monday, April 17th in observance of the Patriots' Day holiday. Number 2, Fairfield's annual town budget meeting will be held at the Community Center on Monday, May 8th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. Number 3, fourth quarter property taxes are due Wednesday, May 10th, 2023. Number 4, annual spring cleanup is scheduled from Monday, May 15th to Friday, May 19th. There are changes to the program. Brochures are available at the town office. And number 5, the MSAD number 49 annual school budget meeting will be held at the Lawrence Junior High on Tuesday, May 16th, 2023 at 7 p.m. The second order of business are public hearings. So the first is to hear public comments on a special amusement permit renewal application for the purposes of entertainment, music, and dancing submitted by the American Legion Post number 14 located at 86 Main Street. Do we have any public comments? Seeing none. The second part is to hear public comments on the annual town budget warrant.
Wait. You need to actually declare that hearing open and then close it. Sorry, it must be not on your sheet. So we're going to declare that open at 6:32.
Very good.
And closed at 6:32.
Okay.
It is on there, it's just
Okay.
probably
Yep.
convoluted.
All right, next one.
So they open, yes.
Sorry.
So open, the second part. Okay. And do we have any comments on the annual town budget warrant? Welcome. Very good.
You could print and sign and state your name.
My name's Dawnelise Clifford. I'm glad this isn't town meeting, because I had some questions that'd be better not to ask at town meeting. Article 14 about recycling. Could somebody answer a question about where this money's going? Who are we paying it to?
Michelle.
Certainly can answer that. So we pay iRecycle, located in Waterville, $1,100 a month to take Fairfield's recycling as a location in which we can provide to the town for a place for you to be able to recycle. So that is the gist of it. That is exactly what it is. It's a monthly fee so that they will take recycling for Fairfield residents.
$1,100 a month?
Yes.
And then do we get any money back from the recycling?
No.
Okay.
And I'm not aware of much of anybody who's getting money back on recycling at this point in time. There was a recent article in the paper. City of Waterville changed their trash hauler. And if you noticed, I think it was somewhere in the 80s for regular municipal solid waste per ton. And recycling was more than $200 per ton to get rid of recycling in that municipality. So I don't think anybody's getting revenue back on recycling anyway.
Yeah, it's too bad.
It is unfortunate, but that is the market that we are in.
Yeah. And then I had a question about, trying to find it now, the Delta ambulance. I didn't get a chance to see what article that was. The rescue, yeah, Article 28. $97,170 from the American Rescue Plan.
Sure.
Is that a contract that we will be having with Delta?
So Michelle will probably speak to this in more
Yes,
depth.
so it'll be a one-year contract with Delta Ambulance, so that will cover us from July 1, 2023 to June 30, 2024.
And does that mean that Fairfield residents don't have to pay Delta anything when they come to our house?
That is not correct. They will still bill your insurance.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions or comments? Seeing none, we can close out. You
So,
have-
so can I just mention a few things,
By all
just in
means.
case there are folks at home that are listening to us and watching from there? There is no member of the public that is on Zoom, just so you're aware. So there is no public comments there. I just wanted to take a quick moment and just to talk about our budget. So the budget spreadsheets are available on the town's website. We did discover this morning that link was broken. We did get that fixed and corrected. We have had, I was just going to share my screen here, just so I can show what the overall budget sheets look like. There we go. So, the town's total overall budget, if all warrant articles pass, is for this year up $33,806. So that is roughly about 1.5%. So 1.5%. This increase will not have any influence on our mill rate. We do not know at this time what the budgets will be for the county or for the school. So again, we would encourage folks to attend that school public hearing that was mentioned back on May 19th, so that folks can find out what's going on with that budget, because that does obviously affect our property taxes. So at this time, there isn't anything really unusual out of this budget, other than the Delta ambulance piece is a new item for us. But of course, folks need to be aware that the council did vote to use ARPA funds for this year to offset that cost. So that cost does not have a direct impact on property taxes. There's been a lot of really great budgeting that has happened within all of our various departments. The reason we really can attribute the $33,000 increase could have been much larger if it wasn't for the fact that we've also had increases within our revenue stream as well that are non-taxpayer dollars. We do encourage folks to call us, email us, come into the town office if anybody has any questions on this budget. Copies of the spreadsheets are here tonight, and again as well on our website. And we have had, I've had no questions at my office regarding the budget or any emails that have come in. And that's it. I just wanted to make sure folks were aware of what was going on.
Thanks, Michelle. I kind of cut you off. I wasn't sure when you wanted to talk about that, so
So
I appreciate
just-
you doing that.
Just to let folks know what it is overall that we're talking about for how much money.
Right. And can we follow up with that just a little bit?
Sure.
And again, just to clarify all the dates, so people that are listening or watching are clear, the town meeting is going to take place on
May 8th.
at 6 p.m.?
6:30.
6:30.
It's located here in the gymnasium. It's in-person voting. It's same as town meeting always has been, voting from the floor.
Right.
So that's May 8th.
Okay, and that'll be municipal budget only,
Correct.
and the next one will be the school board budget?
Yep, which is May
16th,
16th
Tuesday, May
at
16th.
7 p.m., and that's at the school,
The junior high.
junior high,
Yep.
yep.
That's up
junior
to
high.
Williams Junior High, right? And then the third one will be the county budget, which will take place when?
We don't have a date for that yet.
No,
The county budget committee hasn't even met yet.
they're meeting tonight.
Oh, that's right, they were meeting tonight, and Counselor Thibodeau could not attend on our behalf because she needed to be here for tonight's
Yeah.
meeting.
Okay.
So they've started their process. So we'll know that eventually. We should know after tonight's meeting when that will be.
Like I said, just
Yep.
so it's all out there, so everybody has a chance to understand it, because
And-
it is a little bit confusing.
Right. And then the other piece too, so other pieces that come into play with that is the school budget ratification vote, as well as the school board member vote is June
13th.
13th.
Monday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
And that's secret ballot. Monday or Tuesday?
I'm sorry, Tuesday.
Thank you.
Sorry, Tuesday.
And that's a secret ballot. You can get absentee ballots for those, that sort of stuff, as long as the ballots are printed within the 30-day deadline.
Right. And those will be available,
Typically, it's 30 days prior to the election. However, we still haven't gotten the content for that ballot yet, so we're waiting on the school for that piece.
okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for asking that, Larry, and getting a chance to make sure we went over all those dates. Appreciate that. And I would like to reiterate, I think, just what Michelle said. If you have questions out there, just ask. I think everyone at the town office is really approachable, and will give you their time. So if you have questions, please ask. The third order of business, public comments. Limit 3 minutes. Members of the public may speak to the council or request opportunity to speak on a specific item that is on the agenda, or may email comments for council to info@fairfieldme.com by 4 p.m. the day of meeting. Submitted content may be read aloud at this time.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
May we only speak to questions that are on the agenda?
Anything you want.
For public comment, is anything you want?
Anything you
Please go to the...
Yeah.
Yep.
This, you know,
It's public comment.
don't be afraid to talk about anything you want. That's what we're here
It's
for.
okay, I'm not afraid. I'm back again, sorry, Donalise Clifford. I just have a question about what's going on with the town farm. Because I drive by there, I see that all the trees have been cut. I read something about how we wanted to put a development in there. Apparently, that's not going to happen, or it's on hold. I'm wondering if we're going to replant the town farm or do something with it. And if you don't want to answer that right now, maybe it's some time in the future, or somebody could let me know what's going on with that.
So, Michelle, you may be able to speak to that in the planning, I was looking at the planning board meetings.
No, so that is us. The town, we haven't cut off from the town farm in quite some time.
We have
So-
a forester that manages that land for us.
Right, so we have a forest management plan for the town farm and some of our other properties that we own. And cutting, when it's done, it's scheduled cutting, meaning, so it's done to thin out the forest that's there. And usually it's also done when we can actually generate some revenue from what we do take out. But we haven't cut off the town farm for some time, and usually we don't go back and replant. We wait, for what's underneath to grow back in, because usually it's done for thinning or what have you. The development that was being talked about by the town council back in 2020 actually has been on hold since that time. We had, the council had commissioned a study about looking at the town farm for housing, for a development project in housing. We got that study in the spring, early summer of 2020, and then right on the heels of that, while we were starting the process to look for grants for extending utilities and what would it look like, we had found out about the PFAS issue in that area. And that was the first area that was disclosed of being contaminated. And one of the fields that we knew was contaminated with PFAS abutted the town farm. So that kind of just put everything in that project on hold, and it's just been sitting there. There isn't anything actively being done with it.
Okay. I've been out there and toured the town farm. I'm not quite sure about the lines anymore. There's a firewood processing place, and then right next to that, I thought was a roadway that went up into town farm. And it looks to me like there's a whole lot of trees cut there. Is that not the town farm?
So that's probably not part of our property, but if you want to come into the town office, we can certainly go over where those borders and everything are for you, so you know that you're on town property. There's also a piece, there was a mix-up, if you went to our tax maps that were online, the CAI maps, there was a discrepancy between map and lot numbers as well. I think it's been corrected at this point, but if you want to come in, we can go over that with you and make sure we know exactly what you're talking about, and then if there is an issue, we can go check it out, but we haven't done any cutting up there for quite some time.
I am familiar with the spot you're talking about, Don Lisa. That is a gentleman from Massachusetts that had that cut off towards 201, probably another half a mile on the right is where the town farm is.
Okay.
And very little of town's land. We just have a right-of-way to the road. All of the town's land is way back.
It's out in the back.
It's kind of swamp.
Yes.
Yes.
Some of it.
Yep, a lot of swamp.
All right, thank you.
Your best access technically is actually off the Green Road in the back?
The Green Road.
Yeah, then as of,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's near.
That's where she was.
Okay, yep,
That's exactly where she was talking about.
yep. I was thinking the one up front on the other side.
So, good question, and thanks for asking, being involved. So, seeing any more comments? Seeing none? Our fourth order of business, reports from staff and committees, so our town manager report.
Okay, so first of all, one of the things I want to mention, we had tried to sneak it into public announcements, but it looks like it didn't make it there. Just to let folks know at home, if you're listening, the town of Fairfield is hiring. We have openings in police, fire, public works, and here at Crossroads TV. So if you know anybody who's interested in any of those professions and would like to come and work for us, we would love to see their applications and resumes. And then also for you, I had, let's see, March 23rd, the Legislative Policy Committee met in Augusta all day at MMA. New LDs continue to be released from the reviewer's office, and that group continues to meet in person as well as via Zoom. In case what's happening is new legislation is coming out of the reviewer's office and the public hearings are being scheduled within days of each other. Things are moving pretty fast and furious, so sometimes we have to meet via Zoom in order to make sure MMA can best represent municipal interest on certain bills. So that's a very active process right now, and we suspect it will be throughout the next month. March 24th, I did attend training all day up in Bangor. Main town and city managers had their spring training. The theme of the day was grant funding. It was basically on where to find it and how to get it. There is currently more federal funds out there right now than anybody can ever remember, with the transportation bill that happened and all of that, and the websites that are out there that you need to register for to get that. So that was a great day to go to. April 4th, Economic Community Development Committee met, which I'm sure Councilor Thibodeau will tell you about. April 6th, I was able to participate in a roundtable discussion at the Mid-Maine Chamber of Commerce with Julia Munzie. Julia recently was named the new president and CEO of the Maine State Chamber of Commerce. We were there to provide feedback as to what the state chamber's advocacy efforts and communication should be focused on. Two of the major topics were, of course, workforce development and workforce housing. We did mention about the fact that it's not just your manufacturers and restaurants that need workforce, it's also your municipalities, and how businesses need police and fire just as much as our residents do. But also, we did discuss the need to maintain our paper mills, the Shawmut Dam, and broadband expansion as well. So that was a really great opportunity to be able to speak to them and hopefully see how they're gonna go forth and look into commerce for state. And then also today, you were given an ARPA funds spreadsheet. This was requested because erroneously ARPA funds was listed as a funding source on your agenda tonight. That has since been corrected. But this will also give you an opportunity as we're talking about ARPA funds and we go forward, and we'll update this, everything that the council had discussed during our budget process and where you're actually at with those funds. And as things change with that number, we'll just update this sheet for you. But this was just a good way for everybody to keep track of it and see where we were at. So, and that is it for me.
Thank you, Michelle. Any comments or questions? Very nice. Committee reports. Councilor Thibodeau.
Well, the Economic and Community Development Committee met the first Tuesday in April. Plans are underway for our Fairfield Trails Day, which will be including the grand opening of Cattail Trail. So National Trails Day is June 3rd, and we are registered with the National Trails Day organization, and we are going to be celebrating the trails in Fairfield. In Fairfield, we not only have Cattail Trail, we have the Mill Island Park trails. We have two trails at KVCC. One is the off from Western Avenue, and the other is in Hinckley at the Alphon campus. And we also have the Goodwill Hinckley trails. We've met with stakeholders from all the organizations, and it's going to be a coordinated effort on June 3rd. The time will be roughly 10 to 12, And it's also going to be part of a summer program that we're offering to get people to walk all the trails in Fairfield. And this is going to be a passbook opportunity with QR codes at each trail so that you can keep a record of the trails, send it in to the town office, and then we'll have a drawing for all those people that did go and walk the 5 trails in Fairfield. So that's going to be on June 3rd, not for Fairfield Trails Day, but the Passbook program actually goes from Memorial Day to Labor Day. So we're hoping we're going to get a lot of people involved in being healthy and walking the trails. And the theme for, actually it's a pledge, for the National Trails Day is that you always leave a trail better than when you found it. So we're hoping everybody will help to pick up the trails that they're walking on. There'll be trash receptacles available and bags. So we're hoping for a good turnout that day. We'll be stationed down at Cattail Trail. That will be the main location since it is going to be the grand opening. On that Tuesday, we also talked about the AARP age-friendly community possible commitment. Tim Forsman is heading this up, and he's doing an excellent job in trying to get the word out about this. And we need people, if you're interested in this, to let Tim Forsman know. And that's basically it.
Thank you, Stephanie.
You're welcome.
Good. Any questions or comments? I think one thing, we see the move by Skowhegan kind of focusing on being outdoor recreation. So I think it's nice that I think you were ahead of the curve and already thinking of those things.
Well, thank you.
So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So moving on to the 5th order of business, the consent agenda. These items are considered routine or standard business and therefore will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests prior to consideration of this portion of the agenda, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered next on the agenda. Item 2342, order the Fairfield Town Council hereby waives the reading of and accepts the minutes for meeting number 2023-06, held on March 22nd, 2023. Item 2343, order the Town Council hereby approves the Treasurer's warrant number 103, General Fund, for the amount of $663,701.94, including MMA, motor vehicles, KSDT, and the Skowhegan Savings Bond.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? The 6th order of business, to take action on the following items of business as read by the council chair. Item 2344, order the Town Council hereby approves special amusement permit renewal application for the purposes of music and dancing submitted by the American Legion Post number 14 located at 86 Main Street.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I don't have any violations to report.
Very good. All right, we shall move. All those in favor? Item 2345, order that the Town Council hereby approves and signs the 2023 annual town budget meeting warrant. Ooh, this is legal. So this is actually what we had just approved in the normal treasurer's warrant in my notes.
Oh, no, we were to take that 2023 annual town budget meeting comes out.
Warrant.
This is a different kind of warrant.
Yes.
Okay, so your next order of business is the actual annual town budget meeting warrant, is what you need to do.
Right, yeah, we had, mine still had the notes of
Yeah.
103 general fund.
Yeah, not there.
So is mine.
Yeah, it was when I was making
Just all-
the cheat sheet. I
It's all good?
apologize.
Okay.
There's a cheat sheet that
So
we
we
have.
shall order that the Town Council hereby approves and signs the 2023 annual town budget meeting warrant.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Item 2346, order that the Town Council hereby approves the sewer enterprise budget for the fiscal year of 2023 and 2024 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a motion and a second. Discussion. Anything that you want to say or?
So this budget was given to you at your last meeting. We had that, I'm trying to see if I can, no, not find it and to share it. So this budget is, up slightly, but not so much that the amount of revenue that we're currently generating through our fee schedule can't cover it. One of the things that we were most concerned about with this budget was obviously our payment to KSTD and what the cost of that was going to be with the issues surrounding sludge. We are still monitoring that piece. As of right now, KSTD felt confident that the number that they gave us was fine. For the year, if there was an increase, they felt that they would probably be able to cover that throughout the course of this coming fiscal year, and we would pay for it on the back end, so not till 24, 25. But we will continue to monitor that, because if this amount for KSTD increases much more, we will definitely have to look at increasing the amounts that we charge for sewer, but at this time, we're not looking at doing an increase for sewer.
Thank you, Michelle. Yeah.
And the other thing too is for folks, it's important to remember this is an enterprise fund, so this is not covered through taxation other than 50% of its debt service. This is a department in which it is funded through the fees that it collects through sewer. So it's different than our annual town budget meeting. It's different than the town meeting process. It's a different piece.
Okay, this is for the town manager. So what was in the paper today concerning Winslow? Because we are an enterprise situation with the sewer. Our situation is different from what people read about from the article.
So in the town, that article, if I'm recalling the article correctly, in the town of Winslow, they had referenced the KSTD payment that was affecting their mill rate. I'm not sure why. I do not know what their billing process is, but if you take, for example, like the town of Skowhegan, that community I do know, their sewer is completely funded through taxation, not through fees at all. So if you have sewer in the town of Skowhegan, you do not pay a sewer bill, you just pay a tax bill, and so does everybody else. That's not the way it works here in Fairfield. If you have sewer, you pay sewer. If you don't have sewer at your home, you don't pay a sewer bill. What you do pay through taxation is 50% of the bond that's outstanding for the sewer work that we've done. So I'm not real sure what's going on in the town of Winslow. I couldn't speak to that. But KSTD's fees that were referenced in that article are within this sewer budget, and the fees that we collect for sewer cover that cost.
Right, and I think it's important for people to realize that the way that we have structured the sewer payment is being watched, like you had said, and not to panic just because of a neighboring community, so.
And to further explain that, because maybe some people don't even realize, so the Kennebec Sanitary Treatment District in Waterville takes the sewer that is generated in the town of Fairfield, that goes through the pipes, it goes to that sanitary treatment district. We pay them to take that sewer. That's what this number is. That number directly correlates then to the people who produce the sewer, which is what helps to drive the cost of what they pay in a sewer bill. So it's not just KSTD. That's not the only thing that fee covers when you pay a sewer bill. That is just the largest portion of it, because it also covers the staff that we have through Public Works that covers that, whether it be the folks that are actually out working in the sewers, or whether it be the administration side of it that does the billing. It covers vehicle costs, fuel costs, utility, all of those similar things of every other department. So when we talk, the reason why we monitor KSTD so much is because it is the largest portion of this budget. So,
Right, thank you.
you're welcome.
I think it was important seeing that article today, so I'm sure people were thinking the same thoughts. So at this point, we have the motion and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Item 2347, order that the town council hereby approves the Crossroads TV budget for the fiscal year 2023-2024 as presented.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Anything that you want to add, Michelle?
So similar type of funding structure. Crossroads TV is also an enterprise fund. It is actually funded through franchise fees, the tapings that we do for other municipalities, sponsorships, programming, that sort of piece. This budget is up slightly more than it was last year because we have a part-time staff position in this current year's budget that we're in, the 23-24 budget. I mean, the 22-23 budget. What we're looking at doing is changing that part-time staff position to a full-time staff position for the 23-24 year, in hopes that we could actually get an applicant for that position, and then also the support staff and things that we need. So this is obviously a great program, a great department. That's what folks at home are watching us on now. We couldn't do what we do in Zoom world or in Facebook or on YouTube without Crossroads TV and all the great things that they do. So.
Agreed. So, any more discussion? A motion and a second. All those in favor? All right. Item 2348, order the town council hereby considers and awards bids received for road paving and reclaim to be expended from the Public Works paving account.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? So I think we would, Councilor Thibodeau.
This is for Mr. Williams. When I looked at the different companies that had filled out the RFPs, the requests for proposals, I was surprised to see so many from that were not local. And I'm concerned about going with people or a company that is 50 minutes away and having them do our job. Have you ever found that an issue?
I have not. What kind of concerns do you have with that, Mr.?
Well, it's basically time. When does their time begin working here in Fairfield if they're commuting from Bangor?
Oh, they get up early. They're
They
here.
get up
We have
early.
worked with companies from Bangor before.
Yeah.
I'm on site for all the paving. All temperatures are checked. Everything's within specifications,
Yeah.
you know?
So how does that work? They're billing us just for work done in Fairfield, not time traveling, right?
Oh, correct. I don't have one of the bids in front of me, but like the reclamation,
Yeah,
it's based on a square footage, so it has nothing to do with their time to get here. All the roads that are paved is based on a per ton, so it's quantities. You know, it's nothing to do with time.
okay.
Yep.
All right, I was just very curious about that, because when we have 7 companies applying for this, and then I'm looking at them, and there's one that the closest is Canaan or Sydney, it made me wonder. So thank you.
So just to help further clarify that, so we don't pay any of these contractors an hourly rate for their staff or their flaggers or their drivers or any of that stuff. So those contractors figure their cost to provide this service into their tonnage amount. So the fact of thinking that because they're so far away, it's going to cost us more because of mileage and time, and clearly if one of the furthest ones away is the low bidder, then that's not the case, because it's based on volume and not time.
All right.
Right, so it's the product is what we're paying for.
So,
Go ahead.
well, is there anything, and I'm not sure how this works, so I'm going to take the opportunity. What about, in these contracts, what's built into them for cost overruns? Because
I do the measurements, I put the specs together, and it's usually pretty spot on.
it is, okay,
Yeah.
good.
You know, there's escalation, de-escalation clauses. If liquid asphalt goes high, the price is going to go high.
Right.
If the price per barrel drops, the price of per ton price will drop.
Okay, that's what I was wondering about,
Yep.
because,
There is a clause in there for the price of, because it's all oil driven.
right, I was going to say, it depends on the petroleum
Yeah,
market.
so they're pretty well covered. And we are too,
Okay,
you know?
And then if something happens, say the price of asphalt goes to the roof and it's going to cost us too much, it may be one of the jobs that was on the list doesn't get done. We don't do it, and it gets bumped up to the next year.
now, 7 bids honestly is pretty impressive, I think.
It is, it is.
So whatever you're doing to solicit bids, you're doing it right, whatever
Yeah.
you're doing,
I
Bruce.
mean, we've had this list together for quite a while. A couple of these, like Northeast Paving, I've never heard of before.
Right, I mean,
They got it off of the website, I'm assuming, or through the grapevine, we heard about the bid.
because I expected to see, 3 or 4 bids at the most. I was surprised when I saw 7.
We've worked with a lot of these pavers on the list.
So I'm sure the taxpayers appreciate that, because the more bids,
That's
usually the better deal
Well,
you get.
can see the
so.
price variation from highest to lowest as well.
So
Go ahead.
when will work begin? If we go with who you're recommending, when would the work begin?
We have some money left over from last year to get started, but I mean, the majority of the money needed for this contract is after July 1.
Yeah, town meeting. And just so people know, I am no relation to Vaughn Thibodeau.
Thank you.
Maybe a very,
So-
very distant
So
cousin,
what
no,
work to do
no.
the base work, to do the prep, and they'll come in and do the paving, right?
They will come in and do the reclaim,
Okay.
grind the road up to dirt. They'll leave. We'll do all the grading, we'll do all culvert repairs, all ditching. When the road's ready for asphalt, I call them, they come back and pave.
All right, good.
Good?
So I would like to make amend the motion. I don't know, who made the motion?
Peter made the motion.
made the
Peter.
motion.
Would
You
you like
seconded
to
it.
amend the motion then, that we go with Vaughn Thibodeau, who can't come in for $493,528?
I'll amend my motion is we take Vaughn Thibodeau's estimate of $493,528.25.
And I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor of that motion? Very good. Thank you, Bruce, for doing that. I think that's, by having that good array of bids. We obviously, you can look at the difference. We saved some money for the town, so I appreciate that. Item 2349. Order the town council hereby considers and awards bids received for line striping to be expended from the Public Works road paint account.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
And awarding, well, should be,
Have we had Lucas doing it before? Lucas?
We have
Stripe
never
striping?
hired a line striper before.
Right.
Waterville Public Works used to do our line striping. We would exchange a little bit of grading work on their dirt roads for them striping our roads, and we would just pay for the paint. Waterville Public Works is no longer doing that for us. This is the first time I've gone up to bid. There was 3 companies in Maine that I found. 2 of the 3 bid this work. This company actually does line striping for Oakland, for Winslow, came highly recommended.
So we have to supply the paint, or they'll do that?
Nope, this whole estimate is to cover all the painting that
Okay.
Waterville was doing. We still have to purchase paint for our.
So we have enough paint? Because I know last year, or year before, we didn't have enough paint or something, or?
They were running low on paint, but
Okay.
yeah, I actually just purchased the paint that we need for crosswalks, and it's sitting in the shop.
Any more discussion? We'd like to amend the motion.
Amended motion to accept the bid from Lucas.
Lucas Striping,
For $6,799.80.
80 cents,
a
yes.
second of that amended motion?
Yeah.
All right. So a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Nice, again, same, nice to have a couple of different bids. Item 2350, order the town council hereby considers and awards bids received for fire department training facility perimeter paving to be expended from the natural gas tip account.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Michelle, can you describe this a little bit? Or just-
So what this is this is for paving approximately 30 feet out surrounding the perimeter of the fire training facility that's located on Flashover Drive, which is off from Industrial Road. And this would help with preserving the soils that are around the foundation of that building. So that's what this is for. The reason for the funding to come from the Industrial Road Gas Pipeline TIF account is because of the fact that the fire training facility is an actual project that is listed within our TIF district. I did provide you all with a sheet tonight of what our eligible projects are that are listed in that. So the public safety training facility and its equipment, with a sum total aggregate of, estimated at $450,000 over the course of 15 years. We currently, to date, I don't believe, other than maybe a little bit of design work, haven't spent, and I don't even know about that, have spent any money out of the gas pipeline TIF for the fire training facility. We've been fortunate that what we've constructed to date has been done through grants in the Somerset County and those pieces. So the funds are there. The balance in this account is $665,475.02. So if you went with a low bidder of $32,835, obviously it will fit within that budget.
Chief Bickford, do you want to say anything, or?
I would turn this over to Bruce. We kind of traded projects.
Very good.
So,
This is not my wheelhouse.
Yeah. Thanks. Bruce?
More questions?
so only 2 bids on this one?
Yes, there was actually no bids when this was put out to bid, so I solicited these folks to come in and give us some pricing.
It's a smaller project, and it's not a lot of work. Mobilization is the biggest piece of it. So you have a tendency to not get as much attention as you do with the big burly projects like roads, so.
No. In your estimate, do you think that work will get done this year, Bruce? Because you have a lot of earthwork to do there, right? Don't you have to put in water and a bunch of other stuff?
Not in this particular spot, no.
Oh, I thought it was in the same
It's
spot.
not in this 30-foot perimeter of the building, no. This is just for his training building. The water and sewer is for a hydrant for one to use at the training facility. Correct me if I misspeak, and for future classroom. That will be on site.
I see, I thought it was all,
No, it will not come within this 30-foot perimeter. There'll be no cutting of this asphalt.
There are
Okay.
no utilities located whatsoever at the fire training facility.
all right, good, thank you. I didn't want to see it done twice, that's all.
No. I'm just going to hang tight here for the next one.
So actually, I have 2 things. Michelle, do we have, so is the TIF eligible, or the synopsis that you gave us, is that, can you find that somewhere on the websites?
Truthfully, I'm not sure if our TIF districts are located on the website. I don't think that they are.
Never been asked to load them.
I don't think we've ever
everywhere.
put them on. They're pretty big documents, but if anybody has any questions, they could.
It is actually interesting to see, and I think it's nice
Certainly.
to see what the kind of
Yep.
economic driver they can be. So-
Yep, and every TIF district is different, right? So eligible projects within a TIF district are actually governed by the law. So Title 30A, Section 5225, as you'll see there, actually is the law that drives TIF districts and what you can use TIF funds for. But if it's not listed as a project in your district, doesn't matter if it's in the law or not, you can't use funds for that. So it was good when this pipeline TIF and the industrial park TIF was done, that the usage is so broad, because it helps you to be able to use it on multitude of funds. So probably never for everything that was listed there as a project, but it was a good piece.
Thank
But
you.
we can certainly try to get those up if they're not.
Yeah, if they're too big, we could do info@Fairfield ME, people can request it, and it could be emailed, and if it's too big to email, then somebody could bring in a thumb drive and we could transfer it over.
Right, or provide hard copies, we have them, so.
Thank you.
So that's going to come out of the first one, off the TIF.
Nope, actually, if you're looking at, so for what you have there in front of you, it's the number 6. Public safety training
Okay.
facility and equipment.
Okay.
Town intends to partner with neighboring municipalities to build a training facility located in the town of Fairfield for crews to practice fighting gas fires and other potential emergency scenarios related to the natural gas pipeline. Yep, and that's how it was put in.
I was just asking, because it didn't say in there, that's why.
No, it's number 6.
So we had a motion and a second. Do we want to amend?
Yes.
Who made the motion?
John made the motion, Peter did the second.
Yeah, I'll put an amend in there to accept the bid recommended by Bruce.
Fine line paving.
Timeline, yeah. Fine line, rather.
At the amount of $32,835.
Yep.
Second.
Hearing
Yeah.
a amendment, motion and a second. All those in favor? Good. Item 2350, order the town council hereby considers and awards bids received for fire department training facility perimeter paving to be expended. I jumped ahead.
We
Sorry.
just did-
We just did that one. 2351, order the town council hereby considers and awards bids received for the fire department training facility water services to be expended for the natural gas tip account.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? I see Bruce still at the podiums.
This is for water and sewer lines, correct?
That is correct.
And it's going to, do they have to connect to Industrial Road?
They do. There'll be 2 runs coming across. One is a 1-inch line, one is a 6-inch line. Water, both
Right.
water. The 1-inch is just to service domestic water to the classroom,
Yeah.
and the other is for the hydrant.
Yeah, and so this is an extension from the piping that's there at Public Works then, right?
No, it actually runs all the way down back to BDS to
Really? Oh, yes,
Gregory's
that's right.
Actually goes all the way to
disposal and
Gregory's.
so forth.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I was just curious.
There's considerable difference in the pricing. What do you recommend?
I recommend the Bono and Son excavation. We've worked with him on another project year before last, put in the large cross culvert up in Shawmut. He is new to the water game, but I have full faith in him that
Which one, Bruce?
Bono?
Bono and Son.
Bono and Son.
Excavation of the 70,000. It's a little bit later start date. Nitram does a lot of water. They had piping on hand is the difference in the start dates.
And you don't think there'll be an issue?
I don't think there'll be an issue at all.
Good.
I
All
had
for
lengthy
safety.
conversations with him about this.
Yeah, I mean, they're very reputable. They're just new at doing water.
They're new, they're up and coming, and.
But, I mean,
they
they've
do
been in the
good work.
excavation business for
Yep.
a long time, so.
Yep.
So we'd like to,
I like amend my motion that we accept Bono and Son excavation for $70,000, which will start, estimate start date August 1st.
And I'll second.
hearing a amended motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Very good. All right. Item 2352, order the town council hereby approves a renewal request from the Central Maine ATV Club to maintain an ATV access route along the local roads to include Martin Stream Road from Fairfield Town Line to Oakland Road, AKA Route 23, Bear Mountain Road from Martin Stream Road to end, Horn Hill Road from Martin Stream to end, Davis Road entire length, Six Rod Road entire length, 10 Lots Road entire length, Gagnon Road from 10 Lots to Oakland Town Line, Green Road from existing trail crossing to CMP power lines, speed set at 25 miles per hour, and date range to be set in the direction, at the direction of the manager and Public Works related to posted roads and spring conditions to minimize road and shoulder damage.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a motion, second, any discussion?
The president of the club is here if you have questions for him.
Okay.
Are any of these new roads that weren't mentioned last year?
No.
So they're all the same? Okay, that's all I have.
What's the time they can travel on this road?
Pardon me?
What's the time they can travel
Are-
from AM to PM?
I don't think there is a town ordinance that states if you can ride it at night or not.
I live on one of that roads now, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, buzzing down through.
I would,
Too crazy about that.
that's when we gotta get law enforcement and game wardens involved.
Yep.
Very thin out there.
Now, these roads are off limits until the trails are open, correct? You coordinate that
Yes,
when you open the trails?
the state came out with a notice on March 23rd that says that all trails are closed through mud season until locally approved. We're lucky if we open our trails by Memorial Weekend, just because we have a lot of low-lying areas out there, and some landowners don't want them rutted up, so we won't open up unless we have to, or until most of the trails are good. So usually Memorial Day is when we open, and which then, when the trails open, is when the road access is open, so it coincides.
Yep.
The municipality doesn't usually grant permission either until at least we know that the shoulders have hardened up a bit and that definitely the road posters are down, so.
Right, and
We don't.
And obviously, I think you guys do a good job. I'll come to your defense as far as the signage and the 25-mile-an-hour zones, and I think you do a good job communicating that if people don't respect that, then they have complaints from homeowners like this gentleman.
Right.
And
They're
long-term,
on the trail, they're on the roads.
right, but in long-term, that, if there's a lot of complaints, that privilege will be lost. And I think you guys do a good job as a club communicating that. There's always some bad apples
I
in
appreciate that.
everything.
There's always those, I'll call them idiots, there's always those idiots out there that don't belong to clubs, whatever. Back in the day, Fairfield had over 40 miles of trails, we're down to 13, because it takes one of them to ruin a trail. We have 13 miles of trails with over 30 landowners. You know, it takes a 300 section foot of parcel for one landowner to shut it down because we have somebody being an idiot.
Right.
And thankfully for us, all of our trails are multi-purpose trails. They're not just ATV trails, horse, riding, hiking, whatever the case. Everything's welcome on our trail, so it only takes one person to ruin it for anybody.
Right. And so, I mean, I do commend you guys.
Thank you.
I think you do a good job. You know, I'm sorry that there is some people that,
Like you said, it only takes one.
right, it's just, it's impossible to regulate everybody, and you guys do try, and I appreciate it, Kevin, I do, and I'm sure all the taxpayers and the homeowners appreciate it.
We have our challenges coming up when the Kennebec Valley Rail Trail open up. We're, as a club, we're working on that already, on how we're going to mitigate the traffic on some of these roads and getting new trails, talking to landowners so that we can stay. Our goal is not to have road access, you know, other than to leave your property to go down to the trailhead and get on the trail, whether it be on a horse, skis, whatever the case may be. So hopefully in years to come, that list dwindles quite a bit, and we can get out into the woods on the trails.
Good, thank you.
I appreciate that, Kevin. I think it is an interesting part. I think people forget all the multi-uses, so I appreciate that. Christine?
Yeah, just a point of order. We have somebody speaking in the audience that wasn't recognized by the chair, and I do need that gentleman's name. If you could please request that for me.
Jeff Roy,
How do you spell that? The last name, Jeff?
Roy,
R-O-Y?
yes.
Thank you so much.
That person around at midnight, 1 o'clock, making noise, or? Okay, I thought we had noise ordinance. I thought we had noise ordinance.
You can hear it. Hello?
I thought we had noise ordinance stops at 10 o'clock for noise.
9 o'clock.
So Chief, yeah.
We do have an ordinance, and if we're out there and we get complaints, we do follow up on them. And like he said, we have 0 complaints on club members, and 90% of the people who aren't club members that utilize these roads and the ones that cause us the most issues are gonna cause us issues regardless of whether this route is open for them to use or not.
Right, they'll use it then.
But yes, we do respond to a lot of complaints. We've had a couple of details this spring that we ran. Last fall, we ran a few details. We've been operating with the warden service to try and slow that down a little bit.
Super. Thank you, Chief. So we had a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Very good. Item 2353, order the town council hereby forms and advertises ad hoc building committee subject to the town of Fairfield rules and regulations.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. So, know that Councilors Thibodeau and Lawrence have been working hard on this. Do you want to talk about it at all, or what our next step is?
I got it, yeah. We met on Monday, April 3rd on this, and we came up with a proposal on what we think what a building committee should look like. So this is in your packet. I'll explain what we discussed. We are looking for Fairfield residents to be on this committee, up to, I think 7 or more, but with a basic knowledge of construction and other stuff, but not required, but a basic knowledge of backgrounds of construction and building inspection, knowledge of environment and occupational safety, familiarization with ADA requirements, engineering, and flexible with time. And we came up with what buildings we'd like to have assessed if this committee is approved. The police department, the fire department on Lawrence Ave, the fire department on Fairfield Center, the town office, and the public works building. And I know I received something from Council Thibodeau that the Public Works building was built in 1989, but it's still, we'd like to still have it assessed anyways. And our committee report will be, should be done by September on this, if we need to request any money for bids to look at these buildings. But we also, too, we requested, suggested the department heads do their own assessment, then we'll go in and do a site visit as a committee, then we do our final report. So any other questions or concerns?
Yeah, could you tell everybody what the mission is for this committee, please, Peter?
Okay, our committee mission. The goal for the Fairfield 2023 building assessment is to determine whether or not the town's safety building in need structural and or in need of improvement with functionality or usage. Also, it is with understanding that the department heads of each building will assist with the survey as well as help to facilitate the inspection of the structure in each department.
So basically, all we need is some citizens to step forward and join this committee. And it is 5 citizens with Peter as chair and a department head present to oversee and facilitate the tour of each building, so.
5 or 7?
5
Okay.
for the committee, and then Peter and the department head would make 7.
Gotcha, very good.
So, that's not true.
That's not true.
That's what I'm,
Because you would have to have department heads from every single department. So that's fire, police, public works,
Right.
and myself.
Right.
You can only, so,
But it's only 1 department head per building.
no, but that's not right. That is correct. But the committee, this committee has very specific rules that are actually in the council admin policy. Okay, so this committee itself tells you exactly what its makeup needs to be.
Oh, well.
Right, so this committee shall consist of at least 5 members, so your 7 members was fine. One of whom shall be a town councilor, and that individual or his or her designee shall serve as chair. The other members should have a background in the construction field. And then it further goes on to state that the building committee shall review the proposed project for need, usage, design, estimated cost, and any other purpose set by the council. The building committee shall serve at the pleasure of the town council and shall coordinate all contracts with town it should be contacts with town personnel through the town manager. The committee shall support its final report to the council at the time the council sets. There's another part in here that says that it's also department heads, though.
So I guess we can discuss this, but I think one of this is that we're not awarding any contracts. So this is more of a,
Right.
this is assessment.
It-
This is like the first step to, should we take the next step?
So the proposal is basically, the first part is to establish a committee to do an assessment of the buildings. Once that assessment is done, then you have to put out requests for proposals with engineers to come up with a plan. And we're basically, the committee's not active at that time. That's being done through the town manager. Once we have some plans worked in, the committee would then reconvene. And we're thinking probably that wouldn't be until about September.
So I would have, I guess, a question, and what your thoughts are, even to have, so this committee could be more of an assessment committee, and you might even...
It would be the same people doing it all.
Okay, so then if you're thinking that, then you may need to follow those guidelines. If you're thinking just assessment, then you could probably have assessment and then
Right.
finish the role of that committee and then start a second committee for actually the building process.
Yeah, well, my feeling is, if you have a second committee, a second group of people, they're not going to know what's being talked about because they haven't done the facilities, the tours. So it's better to know what's going on. I'd rather have the same people involved. But it's up for discussion.
I think that's probably a good idea, but we may need to amend a little bit, or at least adjust the group makeup.
So what's your primary focus?
To assess the buildings to see if they are functional and if they are being used appropriately. It said it here, and if they're in need structurally.
Right.
So
it's a needs assessment to see if what you have now...
Yeah, would be good in 5 years from now. So that's the basic.
It'll be quite a trick if you get that pulled off by September, I feel, to be honest with you.
Right. Well, we set up a calendar, and April is basically developing the assessment and deciding on the scope that we would need. May is when the organizational meeting would take place, and that would be May 31st. And the department heads, in the meantime, there's a survey for the department heads to fill out based on their building's structural functionality and usage. And so once the organizational meeting takes place, those surveys would also be handed out. A calendar would be established. And then the building inspections would take place from June to July. And we were thinking the first and third Wednesday of each month at 4 p.m., either here in the council chambers or on site. And once that's done, August would be the month where they evaluate the inspections and prepare their reports and compile data and present to the town council in September. And then after that, it would be the RFPs for the engineering, if that's the choice of the council.
Right.
Michelle, do you have any thoughts on the
So just one thing is, well, first of all,
committee
so
makeup?
Councilor Lawrence and Councilor Thibodeau did a great job with this. So with putting this ad hoc committee proposal together, the estimated timelines, all of that, we did have a conversation about the realistic piece of while maybe work begins in May, you might not even have a committee by May because you still have to advertise and that sort of piece. So the reason this was done, though, is so that when you advertise for members of this committee, folks will understand approximately what the expectation is and the time frame in which to work. So all of this is information. There's nothing saying that that committee doesn't get together and doesn't actually get formulated until June, and maybe there's some other ideas that comes out of the committee that they'd like to see done, but at least you have the skeletal formation here of the backbone of what this committee is and what the results are, what you're looking for. And if you don't appoint a group until June, or maybe it's July, maybe the possibility of them reporting back isn't going to be September. There's no reason why that timeline can't move for you. But this allows folks to understand that if they fill out a volunteer application to be on this committee, approximately what will be expected from them from time and energy commitments and that sort of piece.
Right, and I think it's also important that people know if you are in the construction business and in Fairfield, you wouldn't be able to go and do any RFPs for this.
So if you serve on this committee, it becomes a conflict of interest for you to have anything to do if a project was to involve into some sort of remodeling, construction, what have you. And it'll be important for people to understand that.
I would like to say, I think, as Michelle said, you guys did a great job of putting that together and a lot of information there. So it's going to feel like when I talk about mine next, it's going to feel kind of like you guys just did DNA, and I'm going to show up with my baking soda volcano at the science fair, but it's going to be all good.
Yeah, but just so you guys know, there are a couple typos in the packet, and I'll send an amended version to Michelle. It's just basically having to do with periods, and I missed a word.
So any discussion, any more discussion?
I just asked a question, so when I'm getting this ready for your agenda, I do need the duration of the term ending. Policy does talk about your January organizational meeting. Is this going to be a one-year term, two-year term? What did you have? Did I miss something? I didn't see it in the packet.
It's not in there.
So you have the report due to the September 2023, but yeah, duration.
I would recommend that you do at least a one-year term.
Can that be amended after the?
You can. Well, if they're appointed for a year, they're appointed for a year, and then you're just, when the year is up, they'd get reappointed for the, whatever you need. But if you pigeonhole yourself to when a report date is due, what if a report needed to be amended? What if there needed to be meetings? But, so a year, and then a year out from then, we can,
So add it to maybe the June appointments?
June would probably be good.
Yeah, I've already got June appointments for you.
To expire June of 2024. Yeah.
But that still doesn't mean that we still can get applications through the month of May and still have our organizational meeting.
Oh, yeah, no, so what would happen is someone would be appointed to a position to expire June 30th of 2024.
Just want to clarify.
Right. So what we will be doing, so if you vote to put this through, what will happen is we're going to take this sheet basically, and we're going to put that out there for the world, and we're going to ask for folks to fill out applications to be part of this committee. So you'll be looking for 7 members, 1 to be the council. So if the counselor that you're going to use is Councilor Lawrence, then you can decide that here tonight, make that part of everything, and then we would put it out for an additional 6 people. There is a piece, and it does say that department heads of the affected departments shall be a non-voting member of the committee. So they don't get counted in your 7, right? So you'll still be looking for 6 additional folks. So we would advertise this, hope that folks fill out applications, and as soon as we start getting them, get them on your agenda to be appointed. We'd probably tentatively put up a deadline for application date, just to, you don't know, you could have 100 people rush in tomorrow because they're so excited to be on this committee. And then we'll see what happens at your next meeting. And then we'll just keep going until you have the number that you need.
So the appointment timeline that was given to us was April 21st?
No, that was I was going to be required to have it posted on the website. So that's next week.
Yeah.
I'm off the following week. I need enough time to put all this together, and that we would post it and advertise it. And then maybe the second meeting of May, schedule the appointments for...
Right.
Gives people, a month to think about it.
And that would work, because then we could still stick with our planned date of May 31st for an organizational meeting.
Right.
That would work. And just so people know, Peter will be the chair for this committee.
Yeah, we discussed that.
Yeah.
Be the chair.
Yep.
So we had a motion and a second. And do you feel comfortable at this point moving forward with this and approving if we so feel so? If we feel so? Good. I just want to make sure. I think it looks great, so.
Well, thank you. So we do have the motion already, and,
I think we did.
yeah.
Yep,
I think we started it.
Yes.
So I can't remember who did it, but.
We
should've written it
did.
down. All right, any more discussion? All those in favor?
abstain, one
Abstain,
abstention.
yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
I'm chair.
yeah.
Very good. So 2354, ordered the town council hereby forms and advertises ad hoc water and PFAS committee subject to the town of Fairfield rules and regulations. So I would say that we, Councilor Pachotti and I met actually last week and discussed kind of the breakdown of it. We need to actually put a proposal together like Councilor Thibodeau and Councilor Lawrence did. So, but our basic guidelines, so we can put that together for our next meeting. So I can have it, you need to have it in your packet to be able to discuss. But one of the problems, I guess, when I would ask from Michelle, one of the things is like committee meeting schedule. So one of those things is I run into problems with committees. Then, so you put this out, but I think sometimes you want to look at who's really good at, could be a good member of the committee, but their time is stretched. So trying to find a time that works for everyone. So I'm not sure about putting that in an advertisement for that.
So sometimes you do and sometimes you don't, right? Like you include it or you don't, but when we put this general ad hoc committee proposal form together for you, sometimes folks have we were thinking you might have all those details or you may not. And you may be thinking that it's only a once-a-month commitment.
Right.
And then what happens is that you schedule an organizational meeting and then that group decides what's going to be best for everyone to meet and be able to do that. And it's not necessarily always done ahead of time and up front. And sometimes folks find that, while they were interested, the date that they end up meeting doesn't work and they end up resigning and you appoint somebody else or what have you. So you don't have to be that rigid that you know exactly, like we had in the other one, it was the 1st and 3rd and it was at 4. I think Councilor Thibodeau and Councilor Lawrence felt that it was really important that this group, in order to get what needed to be done, meet twice a month in order to be able to go forward on that process. We may find that we don't get anybody and that's too much and we have to go back and amend that in order to get folks who we don't really know, but at least it starts giving them that thought process of how it would fit into somebody's schedule.
So our initial thought process is monthly, but to be determined.
Right,
So,
yeah, so you could list something like that, yeah. Yeah.
so I think that's where we stand. So I guess I would make a motion to table until next meeting so I can present in full packet. Second for that?
Second.
Any discussion?
And yeah, any discussion or questions on that end?
I would just like to say, once these committees do get advertised, people interested in being on the committee should contact the town clerk for the appropriate paperwork, so.
Form is our volunteer application is also on our website.
If you want to hear some of the committee mission, I'm happy to give that to you if you want to.
Sure.
To lead. So our first, we had several missions, and these can always be evolving. But one is to explore the options for additional testing, water and soil. 2, to explore the state of Maine programs and their effects long and short term. short-term and long-term, I should say. Number 3, to explore alternative uses of contaminated areas. And 4, to explore options for long-term water supply to relieve the burden from affected citizens and ensure clean water access. So those are our 4 main guidelines and things we want to address. So, and again, the committee size will probably be in the 5 to 7 range based on applicants. But we should probably put 5, but I'll present in a full packet and a better presentation next time. So I wanted to get that started. So we had a motion and a second to table. All those in favor? Very good. And item 2355, order the town council hereby forms and advertises the ad hoc committee for the Community Engagement Committee, subject to Town of Fairfield rules and regulations.
So moved.
Second.
Councilor McDonald, actually, I can talk to you this week.
Right.
So it's great. I think you had a great idea.
We did discuss it. And what I would like to do is wait until after the budget processes are done. And the reason for that, in my mind, that's when people are the most motivated to participate. And it makes for a very good measuring stick. When you form a committee after the fact, then you can look at the previous year, and you can see if you've increased involvement or decreased it. There's a possibility there isn't even a need for a community involvement committee, but you won't know unless you have something to measure against. So my thought is the best thing to do is not to mention this at all, so it doesn't, we'll say, muddy the water, if we're going to use that as a measuring stick until after the county budget, and then proceed with it then. That's my thought.
So to establish baseline, would you be looking at just attendance at the town meeting, or what other kind of things are you looking at?
Right, because I mean, we're going to, like tonight, for example, you know, and then we'll have, you know, how many people show up for the town meeting, and then how many people show up for the school board, and how many people show up for the county budget, and then we'll use that, and then we can kind of get a rough idea where we're at, and then form a committee, try to get people involved, see if those numbers increase the next year. If they do, then you know you're doing what you should be doing. If they don't increase, then you have to look at maybe what you might be doing wrong, or maybe if there's even a need at all. Without something to judge by, you won't know.
What's your idea of different individuals? Because when I see the town meeting, I've been attending the town meetings, I've been attending the school boards. Employees show up, both of them, less people. Like on the school boards, 3 residents from Fairfield, the rest of it's all employees, or the other towns. So,
Right.
So I'm just determining what your thought process is. Residents, I know that some of the town employees and the school boards are residents. Are you thinking out of that picture, saying, okay, residents or employees with that mix, or a different kind of mix?
My thought on a community engagement committee is you take employees that are also residents and engage them. There's a lot of this stuff that is already being done in a small fashion, that it just needs to be ramped up a little bit, I think, and it'll make a big difference. But I don't know, because I don't have anything to judge against. It's not going to be, every organization that has community involvement committees or community engagement committees, it's not as big of a deal as it sounds. They meet like once a month. They strategize with, internet. It's kind of like, almost like just doing marketing for a business. It's the exact same thing.
So when you're talking about the budget, when the budget season is done, I know when we go to the schools on, is it the 16th or the 19th? 16th. In order to vote, you have to sign in. So we get a number from that night of how many residents there were. And I agree with you, it should also be the employees if they're a resident of the town. And then after, as for the county budget, we really don't vote on it as a town. It's given to us.
Right.
So,
But nobody's kept track of how many people show up for it.
but there's no meeting other than, right now, the budget committee for the county is meeting now. I am the representative from Fairfield,
That's it.
and that's it. And so there's probably, I think it's 15 people, 13 or 15 people that represent Somerset County. And we are the ones that go over the budget and give final approval for it. The county commissioners have already approved their budget, the budget as they see it. Now the budget committee goes in and takes a red pencil to it if necessary. So it's a little bit different from what we do at the municipal level, but the county commissioners put the budget together with the help of all department heads. They give their final approval for it, so then it goes to the committee. The committee is made up of the people from the towns. And with that, and we pass it. We say we don't like this price, this cost, it needs to go down, and that very rarely has happened in the years I've been on it.
And does they have another meeting after the fact of inviting residents up there? Or is that to be the final meeting?
We have never really had residents there for the county budget. It's been department heads that are there. So
Right. But residents can
they could go if
participate.
they wanted to,
They're just
I'm
not
sure.
aware
It's
that
up
they
at the
can.
jail, so.
So you kind of,
Yeah.
approving my point, but I wanted,
But again, I don't know how that would work with the people in the audience, because that's never happened on the time
right,
I've
and
been
it's
there.
my understanding that they can vote no on the county budget
Yes, they can.
and send it back,
Yes, they can.
the same as the school board. It's not like where you handed it and said you have no choice.
The committee can do that. I've never
Right.
seen,
But the residents
The
can say, no,
residents.
it's no good.
Yeah.
Send it back.
I'd like to see more residents.
Yes. See, so you,
Does the residents have a say in the meeting? or-
No, we've never had any
No.
residents there.
Yeah.
So it's the committee approving the budget representing the towns.
correct.
Because
So-
that never went out saying there's a meeting going on. Usually the meetings last less than 10 minutes.
Right, but they're public meetings.
Christine, you have a point?
Yeah, so normally, we get a notice from the county that when the budget meetings are going to be, and we haven't received notice this year. There's been no communication to my office or Michelle's. And I just wanted a point of clarification throughout your conversation. You're talking about residents and whether they're department heads and whatnot. So in order to participate in an annual town budget meeting, you do have to be a registered voter/resident of Fairfield. And we had 45 last year. The MSAD 49 budget for last year, we had 18 members of the public for Fairfield in attendance. Usually it's a much higher number, we've seen it near 80 before, but last year there was very low attendance. So, but you do have to be a registered voter, and I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Right.
And so, I mean,
And the people on the budget committee for the county, a lot of them are counselors or have connections to the municipal government.
right, and I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong. That's
No,
not my
no,
point at
but-
all.
Just engagement.
We just have to get more people engaged, but this is all kind of new to me also, so I want to see, how many people. Like 18 for the school board meeting is just, that just blows my mind that only 18 people show up.
Yeah, and it doesn't start till 7, and you get 2 paid staff members that need to be
Right.
present for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think there's a need. I just want to wait so we don't muddy the waters, so we get a true count. I'm hoping maybe the last year, the year before, maybe there was some COVID hangover that was keeping people from participating. That's what I'm hoping for, but we'll see.
Would you also include the people that want to be on committees for the town? Because some, we have every year we have to have people serve on committees. Would that be accounted as well?
It's a good thought. I don't envision it being that complicated, to be honest with you. It's just, I really envision it, a few people getting together once a month, open to the public. People from the public can come and make suggestions, can look at ways to open the lines of communication, take advantage of, some of the communication avenues that are available that aren't being used right now. Maybe an old-fashioned way. You remember the old days when they used to have a newsletter?
You're talking to the choir on that one.
Yeah.
I've always wanted a newsletter.
Right, but we don't know.
Yeah.
And I would rather just wait
Yeah,
and
so at
see.
this point, would you just like to table that?
I would.
So
Yeah.
if you'd like to make a motion just to table at this time?
Yeah, I would and then I'd like to look at it again in July after the county budget is done. That's really what I'd like to do.
Right. And the county budget should be done by May, the end of May.
Yeah, oh,
Motion,
yeah.
I'll make a motion to table.
Second.
Any more discussion?
You can vote anyway.
Yep.
This was just a tidbit. If you haven't looked at your main townsman, or the townsman from MMA, there was an article in there this month that came out regarding positions that municipalities have been adding on regarding communications and communication specialists and that kind of stuff. It's just a 2-pager, short little read, but it was an interesting piece about engaging communities, and it was just, the timing was perfect with this group, so, this conversation.
Okay, thanks,
Bring that
Michelle.
up.
All right. So the 7th order of business, the council workshop and other business. So discuss other council business. Councilor Pachati.
I'm good.
Councilor Thibodeau.
I'm good.
All right. Councilor McDonald.
I'm good.
Councilor Lawrence.
I'll just say the springer is out there. I see Public Works doing a fine job cleaning up the roads, and just be mindful for our residents to be mindful they're out there doing their jobs and things like that.
Very good.
I changed my mind. I'm sorry, Matt. I would like to just point out one thing, and I think this is where we're on track, and it had to do with the Budget Committee and their work. Normally, a cost of living built-in increase is about 3% per year. And this municipal budget that we're working on now is only about 1.5%. So it's half of what normally is just automatic. And that goes to the Budget Committee and their work, and I appreciate that.
Definitely. Thank you. Okay. I think I just had 2 things. One, I just wanted to pass on a note, actually from the public library, so I want to read that. So the Dear Fairfield community, the Lawrence Public Library is very excited to invite you to our open house happening throughout the month of May. Whether you're an existing patron, haven't been in years, or have never stepped foot inside, we invite you to come into the library, see our 2021 renovations, meet our staff, take a tour, and see what the library can offer you and your family. There will be activities, new programs, conversations, refreshments, and more all month. As May approaches, I would like to, and you would like more information, please give us a call at 453-6867. Visit our website at www.fairfieldme.com/library, or find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com Lawrence Library, Maine. We will be posting all of our activities and programs on these platforms. We hope to see you soon. I think, actually, Melissa, you've done a great job with the library, and so I can see the increased engagement, so thank you.
Oh, I have one other question for Michelle. Any updates on that building next to the library? I know the talking about the library doing a little expansion.
The good building?
Yeah.
Good house
Good
there.
house.
So I've been trying to find the time, and with town meeting and everything else, I haven't had a chance yet. But we'll be working on putting an RFP together, actually, to get bids for that building to be torn down, as well as the yellow apartment building that's on Main Street, across the street from Cumberland Farms. We'll bid both of those out.
Yep.
I just need to double check. There's a part of me that thinks somewhere along the line, there was actually an assessment that was done on the good house, but I'm not sure that apartment building. We have to do an environmental assessment of, as a municipality, because of asbestos, lead remediation, all of those things prior to. And I'm just looking at putting all that stuff together. But it is a project that we're working on. So that lot, many years ago, was split in half. So technically, the garage is on library land and the other is not. What we've been talking about is the possibility of, the librarian has been looking towards getting a grant potentially for better handicap accessibility for the upstairs portion of the library, and whether that ramp, in order to get the right pitch, would extend over to that property and that kind of stuff. So it's been a good topic of conversation for the last couple of months, actually, about getting that rolling.
And my last thing, I'd like to reiterate what Councilor McDonald said. When you look at our budget going up 1.5%, every town is different, and so whatever their budget is, you can't necessarily compare, and their situation's separate. But I'm very proud of what our town has done for our taxpayers, and what the hard work that the department heads all went in to try to put together a really tight budget to help in these times. So I appreciate that. I just wanted to make sure we said that. So that is then all I have. The next regular meeting of the Fairfield Town Council will be Wednesday, April 26, 2023, to be held as a hybrid meeting in council chambers and via Zoom at 6:30 p.m. And Larry, you will be in Aruba, so do not bother us. Recess. At this time, the council will recess and sign all documents that require the signature of council members.
Motion to recess.
Second.
Those in favor?
Thank you for coming.